Today, my mom will be having a conversation with Kayla Nestor.
Kayla, thank you for coming on down.
Yes, thank you for having me. This is so lovely.
Oh my God, you are such a fun guest because we've never met. You are what I describe as literally the epitome of what recovery can look like. Not
Thank
everyone's
you.
recovery journey. Oh, you're welcome. I started following you. You started following me. I don't remember, on Instagram. And it's where I found this whole group of amazing sober people or positive people that I keep following. And then they follow me. And then we're creating this like community within a community of just positivity and injecting love in a world right now that's a little noisy. Okay.
Definitely.
A lot noisy. Okay.
A lot crazy.
Yeah, so I wanted to have you on because Down with Dedee is all about like just the light, the harmony, the love, right? The energy that we put out is
Definitely.
what we get back. So
Thank
how did
you.
you start Be Wildly Kind?
Yes, thank you. Yeah, first off, I agree so much. Social media has helped me build this community. I've, in getting sober, I lost many friends. So community was something that I was on the search for, and starting Be Wildly Kind has led me to people like you. So yes, I just wanted to say that. Thank you. Yes, Wildly Kind. We're a 501c3 nonprofit. So we have tax exempt status. We've had our status for about 9 months, and we raise money in the community with the help of volunteers. And with all 100% of the funds that we raise goes right back out into the community in forms of random acts of kindness. So that can look like, if we make $1,000 in donations, that looks like we go into a grocery store and we buy people's groceries, or we'll buy flowers and take it to an old folks home and gift flowers. We'll pop into a park and have volunteers go hand out flowers for free. It's just all about spreading love, spreading kindness, exactly what you said. And I think that is kind of one of the most important parts of recovery. And it was for my story, is to have a recovery plan. And I feel like when I gave up drinking and alcohol, I did not have a recovery plan. I did not choose AA. I didn't do a program like that. And starting Wildly Kind and having something to do, go out and do, put my money towards, that wasn't vodka, it just, Wildly Kind became my recovery plan. And it is now kind of turned into my career, and it's become all consuming. And it is the thing that keeps me on track with my sobriety.
Wow. Okay. That is absolutely beautiful. One thing that I've discovered in my show, every time I have these conversations with people, especially those in recovery, everybody's a little different. Like, some use the 12-step program, some like you found another way. My agent uses what is it, acupuncture laser or something. Like, so all these people are discovering a way to get to the same place. But what I really love is that when you mention community and all that, it's so important. However you get there, it's a matter of just getting there. This is why I'm recovering out loud, while you're recovering out loud. I
Definitely.
follow your Instagram, and oh my God, every time I see them, they are seriously random acts of kindness. And I love it because that people are going through their lives wondering what the heck's going to happen to the world, the environment, their politics, whatever, their children, depending on what state you live in, right? There's a lot of stuff going on. And then all of a sudden you have this little light, this group all around the world, I might add, that just come in and give them a flower. And it says something like, tell us some of the things that these random flowers that you give people say, the little cards.
Yeah, so we try to make it a community event always. So we'll invite volunteers to come meet us at the park for the first 30 minutes or whatever, and write these affirmations. And something that's important is I want all of the affirmations to be handwritten. I don't want this to ever get to a point where we're just mass producing them on a computer and putting them onto a tag, because that becomes more business-like and less personal. I want it to feel like it is handwritten. So we take the time and we make the space for volunteers to come. And some of those affirmations, I want them to be impactful. I want them to be sayings that someone reads and they walk away going, holy shit, that stuck with me, that resonated with me. And, hearing "you are beautiful," for someone who doesn't feel beautiful, it's not helpful for them. If, it could be detrimental for them to be hearing those things. And so we write affirmations that are more like, your existence matters. You have a purpose to serve here on this planet. Please keep going. There's someone watching you. There's someone rooting for you. Some of those things that feel more personal. And then to have them handwritten, a lot of the feedback we get is people are like, I was having the worst day. I really needed this today. But when you hear that from hundreds and hundreds of people over and over and over, it's like everyone is having these horrible days more
Yeah.
often than not, you know?
It's like, God, well, it's true. I can't believe, like, when I do my random thoughts, on my Instagram, they're all about that. Just telling everyone you're not alone. I hear you. I see you. I love you. It's all good. We can figure this out. We got to stay together. Ignore the noise. Keep your poise.
Exactly.
Your authentic self, your truth, right? Check your surroundings, your vibrations, your energy, we got it. And then, all these people are like, oh my God, I need that today. I was having such a shitty day. Or, oh my God, I look forward to your random thoughts, because they just always lighten me. And I go, what is going on in this world right now that we're not uplifting each other, that we're not stopping? But something, you are part of that solution. And hopefully I am as well, where you just go, I'm not falling for that. You're like, I'm not falling for that. Why bother? What is giving someone a flower, telling them they're worth living, matter? Oh, it does.
It does.
It's a ricochet. It's like a ripple, right?
Right.
You do that to Johnny at the grocery store, who just got shat on for no reason and really thinks that life is crap. Someone who you and your community goes and gives them a flower, saying, hey, you're worth everything, and someone cares about you. Then they turn around and go home and show it to their somebody, and then they go, Johnny just got a wild flower at the grocery store. Now it's a ripple effect. Now they're all smiling.
Definitely.
What are they doing? They're producing dopamine. Man, that's where it is to give people hope, right?
Absolutely. And not only is it about the affirmation, it's also what we do is, I'm hoping to allow people a platform to normalize interacting with each other again, because another part of it is approaching someone you don't know who's at a park reading alone, who's probably at that park alone because they want space and quiet, and to approach them with a flower. Close to everyone's reaction immediately is, you get the side eye, or what's this person walking up to me for? Everyone's kind of like, hi, until the interaction happens. And I think we overlook the fact that it's really hard for people to break out of their bubble and interact with a stranger. It is a whole thing for someone to walk up to someone they don't know and say, hi, I want to gift you a flower. Even though the intention is kind, we've been forced into this like isolation. And I think social anxiety is on a rise. People don't trust each other. You don't know that the person you're approaching is approaching you doesn't have alternative motives, there's just a lot. So I hope that Wildly Kind can serve as that platform where we're all meeting together. There's 10 to 20 volunteers. We all have a shirt on. It looks official, and we are going to go practice spreading kindness with people as if it is the action that we're doing, instead of we're going out to grab a beer. It's like, we're going to go out and pay it forward. I really want it to become this thing that friends say, hey, what are you doing Saturday? Do you want to go do a random act of kindness in the community?
Yeah,
make it cool. Like, let's make kindness cool and something that we do as adults, something that we go out and intentionally do. It doesn't always just have to be like a happy hour,
Something, you actually made a really good point that I'm surprised we haven't even mentioned this. I think I've done a dozen of these so far, and nobody's brought up something really important that you just brought up, which is the replacement of when you have an addiction or you're using something, whether it's drugs, alcohol, sex, gambling, shopping, whatever your DOC, drug of choice is. When you remove that from your life, it's incredibly important, like you had noticed right away, to replace it with something. Most people will use the 12 steps or the SMART program or recovery. There's all sorts of treatment plans for that. But you went in, and it's interesting, you chose this physical thing to do that literally, what you did? You rewired your brain, girlfriend, because you replaced it with something positive. For instance, I'm slowly going vegetarian and vegan. I used to be a long time ago. I just didn't eat meat, and then I just ate French fries all the time and drank booze and French fries. Isn't that how everybody?
Not good either.
Hair falling out, and I was super sexy. But now, as an adult, I'm trying to do it right. But no, I'm not doing it for health. I'm doing it because I just love animals so much that it's my cognitive dissonance was just out of control. So my friend who's a vegan said, I'm going to give you some advice, and I love her for this. I went to rehab with her, of course. She said, don't just get rid of one thing at a time. Just don't today say, I'm not going to eat meat anymore, because you're just set yourself for failure, right? Replace it with something else. So just remove, say, chicken or whatever, and then start to get used to soy or whatever the heck it is, right? But do not get rid of the thing you love the most, which was chocolate. So I'm pretty much a vegan except for my chocolate. And I try to get vegan chocolate, and sometimes C's candy. You just like sees candy right there, girl.
Definitely. It's just that idea of harm reduction therapy. It has successful rates, it works for people. It does.
Well, yeah, and like some people are like, the way you drink coffee, because I also quit smoking. The way you drink coffee, it's like you're an addict. I go, what do you mean? It's like I am an addict.
You're like, let me have my coffee.
I'm just not active in my disease. And yes, I'm pounding coffee because, believe it or not, once you, like you said, harm reduction, shift it to something that's manageable, it's not affecting your life in a negative way, then you can shift it again and shift it again. This is why generally smoking goes off the chart. And then once you deal with the DOC, the drug of choice, right, then you attack. That's what I do with my smoking. Then I use the same principles to get rid of smoking. And now, but what I love the way that you said that, because it's not just quitting, right? It really is, what's the plan of attack here?
What's the recovery plan?
Are we, who are we going to go to for support? What does that look like? A lot of people have issues with God. I'm just going to say it. I'm sorry. Like, I don't have most people's gods. My God is a group of drunks. God of drunks. I heard that in a 12-step meeting, and I was like, I love this meeting. But I had to slowly discover, for me, is Mother Earth was my higher power, because Mother Earth, who's bigger, better, badder than Mother Earth?
I love that.
So it's a twofold. Not only does she help give me the power every day, and my spirit animal, he's always there, but I have to take care of Mother Earth, because I take care of her, she takes care of me. It's reciprocal, so I'm taking care of everyone's earth, but she's also my higher power.
You know what's so interesting? The first time I ever spoke to you on the phone, or through our Instagram message or whatever, we had this conversation. You're like, I love what you do, but I want to give you this little insight about, we write our affirmations on on tags, essentially, right? Paper tags. And then we put them into the world, which goes against like packing out what you pack in. And that is something that we talk about in our board meetings. That is a hurdle that we've talked about doing, paper that, and we just can't print text as easy on it. There's all of these things. And I think what that has forced us to do, truthfully, like because of that conversation I had with you, it really made me sit down, and we have to rework how we do this, because we can no longer put a flower with a piece of paper on a park bench if I don't guarantee that is going to be picked up. Because if the wind comes up and it flies away, we're a part of the problem at that point. Oh, wow. And I think what has happened is we've really restructured what we do to be more of that platform where it is all about interacting with person to person, because now we're forced to go hand that piece of paper to someone. Like, we are making sure that it is being delivered by someone. And that has kind of something that we've, put into our Tuesday Takeover program. We essentially pay volunteers to go do an act of kindness in their community all over the world. And we tell them, the whole challenge is about interacting with people. We really want to cut down on, the paper supply that's going out and all of that. So that was something that was really positive that came from that conversation with you. We started implementing some of those things.
I just want to say right here, and I told you this before, I'm going to go out and do a Be Wildly. Is it Be Wildly Kind or Wildly Kind?
It's just Wildly Kind, but is our nonprofit name, but our tag and like our encouragement to people is to be wildly kind. So our organization's name is called Wildly Kind, but we want you to go out and be wildly kind to people.
Okay, because I'm always like trying to tag you or talk about you, and I'm always like wildly kind or be wildly kind. Anyways, I'll put it down there. Like, follow her.
Yes, it's just Wildly Kind.
You said something that I thought was really important. And if you mentioned something about, when we spoke, that a lot of people who are in recovery don't come from a place of privilege. For instance, they don't have access to, say, things that you and I do. I'm going to be really honest. I'm also one of privilege, because I had a sober coach, which you have to pay for, after I got out of rehab. And I just had a beautiful conversation with my good friend, David Wilkie at Betty Ford, where they have to raise money to do a wraparound service to help heal the family around those who are in rehab, because the insurance doesn't cover that, right? So my rehab covered the family part of it, if you can get your family to come. Most don't. Most are like, just fix her and bring her home and make her better, But so to get the family involved is a whole thing, because in some cases, not all, it is a family disease. And often when the person comes back, they're so changed, people don't really know where they fit in anymore, right? So having the conversation, explaining to them what recovery looks like and how they can, what it looks like to support that person, and also go on their own journey of healing, because you lost that person while they were in their disease. There's grief there. And now they're back. And now it's like, bam, they're back. You know what, it's a lot of emotions, very layered. Definitely. But anyways, I was in rehab with people who were like, said, I'm here for 1 month, my insurance will not cover anymore. They were not even near where they needed to be to go out and be successful in their recovery, and they got kicked out because insurance wouldn't cover it.
Absolutely.
So this is a problem we do have, sadly. And again, this show is solution based, but I do think kind of like talking about that. If for those who don't have insurance and want to get sober, what would you say?
I think really the only solution, if you don't have insurance and you cannot get into a program and you cannot, AA meetings are free if you can find one and get yourself to one. But even with that comes the challenges of like, can you find a bus fare? Can you, are you in the right headspace to transport yourself somewhere? Like there are so many levels of privilege, like you said, that we don't talk about, even down to just getting to a meeting. I think it comes down to having the option in your community that is free to do something like AA. If you can't get into rehab, there needs to be an organization of people who will, help someone find a program, a recovery plan, that is just a free service. And people are going to say, who pays for that? How does that happen? Well, if I knew of anyone who needed help from our organization, that would become our act of kindness. I think it has to come down to organizations stepping up and doing that. If we had the means to raise money and put one person in a program, our organization would do that. We would take on that challenge. But if there were hundreds of organizations that took the social issue of addiction that seriously, we would be helping each other get there. I just think that, you asked me, what is the solution? I think the solution is community and kindness and compassion. We have to help each other get there, because the truth is there's not a lot of, other options for people.
I love what you just said, and you're so right. This is why I'm recovering out loud. This is why you're recovering out loud. We're trying to show. So I got to ask you a really important question, babe. Here we go. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Do you believe in the paranormal? Yes or no?
Of course. I definitely do. Yes, I definitely do. I'm pretty sure. I mean, this is insensitive to say, but I'm almost kind of like, it's 2023.
Yeah.
The government, everyone, like, who the government, right? But like people are talking about this. It's very, I'm more intrigued by people whose answers are like, no, that they don't believe in the paranormal. I'm like, have you left your house? Have you listen, like there are things happening.
Have you looked up in the sky lately? There's
some what we're made of, but no, that's insensitive. I absolutely believe in the paranormal. I believe in aliens. I also believe in like a higher power, God. I think my God is maybe like a woman who's like my inner voice, like telling me every day that I can keep going. And the truth is, my sobriety is when I discovered God, a higher power. I think that I was so like numbed off and blocked off that I never asked myself those questions. I never asked myself, what happens when we die? Like, is my grandma still around? Does she hear me when I talk to her? Like, I never asked those questions. I was just kind of numbed out. And then once I gave up alcohol and went on this self journey, I really started asking myself, what is the meaning of life? What are things? And as I started reading books and hearing people's stories and all of this stuff, it's just kind of one of those things. It's like, I received a lot of the answers that I was looking for in my clarity. And yes, I definitely believe in it.
That. It's funny because I've had a couple people on who I can tell they're like, I'm not going to the crazy train with you, Dedee. But as they start talking, they're like, I'm going to say no. But then they go in with, but then you never know. Maybe there is something out there. They're like, it hasn't presented itself to me, so I'm not going to go there, but I'm open to it. I'm not, because like I said just the other day, the only reason why we're scared of the unknown or the paranormal or supernatural is because movies have told us for years that we should be scared, right?
Definitely.
Or your parents said, be careful of the boogeyman. When you go out there, something's going to happen to you. If it's in the dark, it's scary, right? And, that's just all classic conditioning. Like, why weren't we ever taught as children to be curious about the unknown, right? That if something happens that you can't, that's odd to you, why are you afraid? Instead of being going, what the heck is that just land in my farm? Where'd that crop circle come from?
Right.
I'm telling you, I didn't make that. I'm a farmer out here and I don't have time to mess around with my own crop,
Yeah.
So, and the messages that they say also, I mean, yes, some of them are man-made, absolutely, but there are some that are not. And that's the stuff I'm talking about. Some things can be absolutely explained in the sky, some cannot. And that's the stuff I'm so interested in. And see my cup, this came from New Mexico.
Yes.
This tribe when I was in New Mexico doing Big Sky. But also this big bad boy, he came to me. And if you look back at a lot of the indigenous populations and they talk about the star people that came down, I mean,
history.
People, they're saying star people came down and taught them fundamental things.
Right.
Egyptians talked about, I mean, that goes way back. Everyone has like these stories that we go, oh, it's all mythology. It's everyone's on peyote. I said, so everybody in the whole world was on drugs. Okay. Well, all right, there you go. You and I were in the wrong generation, right?
Right.
Or maybe you were already there.
Yeah, maybe we were.
Probably
our like second chance.
Then we came back around. It was cool back then. It ain't so cool now. But I love people's responses just because like addiction, when you say you do believe, people like have the social stigma, like, oh, they're crazy. My family, there's some of the family are like, okay, there she goes again. Yep. And other families are like, they're like, well, I'm not going to say you're wrong, dear. I just don't know. I'm like, okay. And I told my son goes, Mom, you're nuts. I said, let me ask you a question, Maximus. This is you all day, right? On your phone. You're looking down at your phone. Most of the world, they can't cross the street anymore. And because they're going to hit by a car because they're facing the phone. How do you know what's flying above your head? There could be a UFO right above your head, but you're like, I don't know what you're talking about. That stuff is stupid. There's no UFOs. And you're looking down at your phone. It's probably right above your head. You would never notice it.
Right.
So my question is, put your damn phone down and start looking up.
Right. Definitely.
Maybe you'll actually bump into one.
For sure. My fiance is very into it. He went to East City. Are you familiar with East City? It's a ranch in, I want to say, Washington.
Yes, I follow MUFON and Gaia and all that. Yeah.
Yep. So my fiance went to East City and I can't remember what I was doing, but I didn't go. He went with a group of friends and they all went out watching and we're very into it. We definitely, I also do believe that once you have an experience, like personally, it's really hard to debate. And for people who haven't had those experiences, I can understand why it's harder to understand.
Doesn't that sound familiar? Addiction.
Right.
Addiction.
Yeah, exactly as anything.
But why can't she just not drink in the morning? What is wrong with her? I don't drink in the morning. Right. Why can't she just stop drinking everyone's unfinished wine at the table? I would never do that. You lost your children. I would have quit by now. See, it's that same thing because, we've kind of come from what we know, right? But I do think that we're part of a new generation and a new wave of thinking, which is stay in your own lane. Judging is not helpful. That's old thinking. We're trying to, I think, leave a lot of old thinking behind us and replace it with new ways of thinking and feeling and doing. And that's what I love about what you're doing. You're not just thinking or feeling, you're doing.
Yes.
And I think that's beautiful. That is beautiful.
Thank you.
All right, girl. This is my spirit animal.
Okay.
The man, this big ass thing keeps coming to me whenever I try to meditate. He helps calm me down. If you could be any animal reincarnated, what would it be and why?
Yeah, I thought on this for a while. I really do think I would like to be an owl. I had a dream about an owl right after I got sober, and dreams are important to me. So I think that made it really, really easy to me. I had a dream that I just hung out with this huge yellow-eyed owl in the forest. That's what happened in my dream. And a few days later, I found an article in scrolling that said they had just found one of the biggest, like with this rare owl that had really yellow eyes. And I just really connected. I think they're incredible attackers. They can be predators if they need to, but they choose not to. They choose to be silent and out of the way. And they're so wise, you can hear them, but you can never see them. And I think that they have a choice to be more seen and show themselves, and they just choose not to. They choose to just kind of sit back and observe. And I love that.
So hold on. You had a dream about an owl with yellow eyes. And
Correct.
then you heard about them finding one that was a rare incident?
Yes, like 2 days afterwards, there was a random article I found that they discovered this owl that they thought was extinct, and I should know the type of owl, but and it had huge yellow eyes. And I ran to my fiance and told him, I was like, this means something. I don't know what this means, but it means something. So
If I were to go there, I don't know what I'm talking about, but to me, it just feels like that could be your spirit animal. Like you and said, hey, yo, baby, I'm here. That's what this guy did. He just, and it's all face. He just comes right at me and he's so calming, which is weird. Normally I'd be scared shitless of a big male lion came right into my face, but he calms me. That's your spirit animal. I had a white one where I live. We don't have white owls. And there was one in the middle of the road at night because where I live there's no lights. And I was like, oh, that's an owl in the middle of the road. It's white. And it's looking at me and I'm looking at it and I stopped and I was like, wow, you are beautiful. And then I saw a car coming down the mountain. I get out. The owl was like, he just turned around and looked at me like, honey, calm down. I got it. And he looked at the car coming down and he flew over the windshield, full span, white.
So cool.
And you see the person going, oh. And I went, that's one bad bitch owl.
That was probably me.
I swear to God, it was you. It was late at night, so you were probably sleeping. You left your body and you did that. And you said, hey, D, it's me.
Yeah.
I came home to tell the boys, they're like, Mom, we don't have white owls. I'm like, I just saw one.
Yeah, so cool.
And they go, why didn't you videotape it? I said, because I was too busy going, that is so cool. That's something else too. People are like, why did you videotape it? Why did you videotape it? So if you're not your phone at it, it doesn't exist. No, some of us like me are standing there in awe going, is this happening? This is
definitely.
So cool. That's happened in New Mexico. I had a little incident. The minute this thing happened, I went, no one's going to believe me. But it didn't matter.
I was just going to say that. I feel like when it happens to you and there's no debating that it happened to you, in that moment, it really doesn't matter if you have to prove it to other people because it happened to you. And I think processing that it has happened to you is enough in the moment.
And I think I'm telling getting sober and your recovery, one of the most beautiful things, this is why I call it a rebirth. You literally have a rebirth. You get to start your life over again. You get a second chance, and you're never too old. I mean, I'm almost 60 and I'm like, what is that? 59, almost 5 years. What is that? 55-ish, right? And I got sober and I'm like, oh, I need to go another 55 because I'm not done yet in this body. I just started, right? I'm almost like, what was I doing before?
I know it feels like wasted time. For me, at least. For me, it feels like I think I was that's another thing is I don't remember a lot of my experiences. Like I remember being in college. I remember like that I was in college and that I partied a lot and that I went to classes, but on the day-to-day of how I spent my time, my memory is just shot. I don't recall a lot. So for me, it feels like I missed so many of those experiences.
No, you're not alone. My memory, it's a joke in my family, my boys, my memory, and even DJ, he goes, honey, don't you remember? I'm like, you can stop right there. Never start a sentence out with, honey, don't you remember ... Because you know what the answer is going to be. No.
Yeah.
I dated a very hot guy. From what I understand, he told me for like a month. We went to a red carpet. He's hot, like really hot. Good friend of mine. And we reconnected as friends again. And I don't remember. He goes, wait, you don't remember dating me? And I go, no. And he's like, what? And I'm like, my memory. He goes, how can I said, what, did we just like hook up a couple of things? No, honey, we dated. I went to your house for like a month. And I go, well, how did we break up? He was a little taken back. And I think he was a little offended. Like, how could you not remember me? I said, honey, I remember half of my life. And it's not, my mind is just fried. One of the challenges for me is to forgive myself for that. And I remember, Dedee, you had a disease. You were doing the best, high functioning, but still you were struggling. You were slowly killing yourself, But the beauty of it is now is that hopefully you and I having these conversations can help other people get in there a little quicker, so they're not sitting here at 59 going, I don't even remember dating a hot guy.
Definitely.
It'd be nice to remember, what the heck happened there,
Definitely. And it really does. I too wish I did it sooner. I did it at 28. And that's, a lot of people think that's great and that's early and that's right on time. I wish I would have done it early because same reason, the life that I have now, it's so much better. It is so much better.
Girl, I can't thank you enough for being on the show with me today. Wow. And I'm going to say, I didn't really want to wake up today. I was fit, and I didn't want to get up this morning. And I was like, well, sometimes in life we get up out of bed and we do things where, we force yourself into it. I am so happy I got out of bed. I am so happy I did this with you.
Thank
And
you.
this is what life looks like. This is what sobriety looks like. And I'm going to do an act of wildly kindness.
Perfect.
And blow up your Instagram, mine, and all my Twitter and all that stuff that I don't even know how to do. DJ's going to help me. I'm going to get a boyfriend, Nick, and we're going to go out and we're going to blow up some community with some kindness.
I love that. I love that. I cannot wait.
Yeah. And we're going to do it with compostable paper.
Perfect. Yes. Yes. We should chat after this too about some of those options, because I would love to bring that in and make that happen. Implement that.
Nick is he's a hookup. He's a research guy. He's like, I can find that. I can find that.
Perfect.
Thank you, sweetie.
Yes. Thank you so much.
Have a beautiful day.
Have a good day. Bye, guys.
Bye.
For more information on today's guest, check out the show notes below or visit our website at www.downwithdedee.com.